No, and I'm gonna like tie the nunchucks to the bullwhip, and I'm gonna try and nunchuck people from a distance.
Oh no!
Canada man ties nunchucks to bullwhip.
And welcome back to another Linux Gamecast Weekly. The show covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. I'm Vin, that's Jordan, that's Pedro, and that's you at home live, watching us on the Twitch, helping us form Cocaine Voltron. I didn't get a chance. I was going to put a little red nose on the guy this week, but hey, man, that's how it rolls. Jordan, we just want to congratulate you because you've done something quite incredible.
Yeah. I finally graduated from grade school.
You didn't poop yourself, son.
I didn't.
No exploding anus, that's for sure.
There was a couple minutes where I thought I would, and I was hoping that the stream of shit would propel me upwards. But fortunately, I just had ass power to do it. Yeah, no, I'm very happy about that. I did a 405-pound front squat for 3 reps using like a full Olympic grip. Mm-hmm. No like crossover hands, no like using straps or anything. Took a while to build up like the strength and the like the core stability to pull that off. So I'm quite proud of that. That's been like 2 years in the making.
That's literally twice my weight, so kudos, yes.
Hey man, you've been able to be like, fuck you, gravity, with some authority.
But to Pedro specifically, be like, fuck you, Pedro's gravity. Woo!
So, Pedro, a lot of people at home are wondering, why do you have a fan on top of your computer?
Oh, this fan was actually a gift from one RTheren, but no, it's we'll get to that in the thank you bits. The computer that's down here is the interesting one. That's the Steam box, and the fan is there because I needed to check the size. So, and yes, if you're wondering, a 60mm Noctua fan does fit inside the case of an Xbox 360. So
here's a real question. You have a Dremel, right?
Yes, I already used the Dremel a lot.
I'm just going to say, what was the point of checking? You're like, this is going to fit.
It was mostly to see like the girth because these are the full 25mm. Yes, these are the full 25mm Noctua fans.
No.
So,
I mean,
yes.
Go check any fan measurement. It's HWG, height, width, girth.
Yeah. I mean, those Noctua fans, they got the girth. It's what everyone craves.
That's their name to fame, man. Because silent girth, very tricky to pull off engineering.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it is actually to quieten down the GPU, because the 1650 from Zotac low profile, it's got 2 40mm fans, very, very thin 40mm fans, so the moment they spin anywhere above 50% of the speed, they sound like, okay, nope, we're done with that. Those are going in to replace the GPU fans. That's why.
See, you need to pull off like some of that clever microtik engineering where you just do like the 2 like girthy heat pipes and just hang it off the back of the case.
Yeah.
Where you can cut yourself on it. Microtech.
Oh,
yeah, no, but there's a lot of plastic, and this plastic is really crap because as I was cutting it, even at a very low speed, just minimal contact, it would immediately melt. So yeah, no, this was terrible plastic that Microsoft built these things with.
It's almost like they weren't expecting anyone to mod the cases of these consoles.
Maybe. Possibly. Who knows? Hey everyone, we got a new thing we're doing on Friday nights. If you want to come play with us this upcoming Friday. Last night, I got I'm confident in the ability to go forward with this. We're going to be doing Trackmania 2 stadiums, and we're going to start getting into it. We're going to start logging scores. We're going to try to get good. I wanted to call it like Get Good Grandpa, but I needed more G's because I wanted like the series to be called 5G. But I don't know. Running a little short on that.
Greasy grandpas get good.
Possibly. We might have a winner. Come check it out. We'd like you to participate. If you're a Twitch sub or if you're a patron, we're going to be rolling that in the announcement segment for the server each Friday. That's going to take place at 7:30. You don't have to be there at the beginning. You can come just watch. You can pop in anytime. Hopefully, by this time next week, I have all the extra server bits hammered out. But it's Trackmania 2. It runs out of the box with Proton. It's an older game, but it's cheap. We can get 20, 30 people in at one time. And it's Hot Wheels, if you ever played it. There's 2 ways to play. Well, really 3. And we had some of that last night with everyone who joined in. Let's just see if I can get to the end of the track. Let's see the most catastrophic nonsense I can pull off. And then the people that were trying to play, which immediately get into I messed up and they get upset. It was, nothing is as satisfying as hearing Rohit scream, "Why, God, why?"
Making people question their faith.
It is brilliant. So I'll see everyone there 7:30. If you want to hop in on like we're doing live right now in Discord, that will be live in the after shows. And so yeah, hop in. It's easy. It's Hot Wheels. That's what it is. It's one of those things we were talking about in the pre super shows, and it's very difficult to find a game that is very approachable from anybody. You can just pick it up, play around. You can have a good time because the difficulty curve on Trackmania is super smooth. You get to the point where you get around a track, get over a loop, but then you start trying to do good. Then they're like, "Hey, here's something you've never seen. What is this? Then you hear the why, God, why?
Where do I go? Oh God, I can't see anything. There's just blind turns."
Yeah.
It is a fun time. I will see everyone there. But one thing we can never put on a track because its legs don't work so well anymore is a horse.
It's very, very greasy. It's a greasy elderly horse, and we've been beating it to death for what, like 9 years now.
Sure.
It's the Steam
Linux
Update.
Oh my God! It's awards season, you guys. Woo! Yeah, the Steam Awards are back, and this year they're picking a very interesting strategy of not telling people what all the categories are right away. They're going to drip feed them to us. So I've been sitting here like a chump, matching refresh on my keyboard, looking for when these things get added. So currently we got, initially we got Sit Back and Relax and Outstanding Story Rich Game. I checked earlier today, they added Best Soundtrack, and then I checked before we went live, and they've added Best Game You Suck At. So these categories are gonna come up. You can issue your votes. They're gonna be giving out the Steam Awards, and there will be peace on Earth, right?
Okay, this is cheating. Guardians for best soundtrack. I mean, of course, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, no, near, just straight up near.
Persona's on there. Outstanding Story Rich. Oh man, it's not Days Gone, kids.
I have streamed two of the games on that list.
Yeah.
Cybertruck
and Mass Effect. Yeah.
Oh man, look at that. Wiggle.
Oh man, get funky.
The responsive design of websites. It works so well, doesn't
Steam, I appreciate you trying to modernize this, but you fucked your websites all kind of up, man. Sit back and relax.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. Hey, this one does have a Linux version. Unpacking, that is the game of why.
Yes.
But
yes.
Farming simulator. Dwarf? I got
Dwarf Romantic. That sounds like something Mir would be into.
Probably. Anything else? No, that's it. I got to say, man, that's kind of a bold move because I'm not going to sit around and hit refresh. I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until all the categories are out. Then I'm going to take my time and fucking forget it's a thing and I'll never get around to voting like most people will.
Yeah, I'm done refreshing now and I will never look at these categories ever again.
Yeah, no, I went through the list just as, okay, let's find the Linux games. Best game you suck at, there isn't one. Best soundtrack, there isn't one. Although I've played Nier, and yes, that would get my vote. Outstanding story rich, there isn't one, although, no. Did the new Life is Strange get a Linux version?
I
Feral?
don't know.
Did you do that? Because I don't...
Nope. No, they did not.
I don't think so. Yeah. And the Sit Back and Relax one, yes, the Unpacking. There's a Linux version made by the fine folks behind Salt Android Cactus. So, yes.
Do you think those clever bastards with Unpacking, the sequel is going to be packing?
Pack it in.
No, it's just going to be like Sweeping Your House, the game.
Oh, that's probably it, man. I'm not even going to joke around about that.
Cardboard box flattener.
So we got good news.
Dishwashing simulator.
We got to talk about dick shrinkage. Absolutely.
I was in the pool, damn it. I
Hey,
swear.
man, it was cold in the pool side out.
I keep asking you, but how do you know?
Steam Deck images shrink significantly. It's going to ship with 2 different types of RAM from different vendors. And, well, I think the biggest thing from this is everyone went, oh, we're supposed to have our Steam Decks by now. But don't worry about it. A couple of updates in the SteamOS image, though. This is all coming out of that. They've updated the touchscreen, so now it kind of works every time you reboot it, which is a bonus, Soda. I'm glad that they got the new kernel drivers, Wi-Fi, audio, GPU, all that fun stuff. Shader caches, to which, Pedro, you were wondering, you're like, hey man, why is this a 10 gig image for KDE?
Yeah, because
in fairness, in fairness, it's like, because it's KDE.
No. See, I have KDE Neon. I've been running it for a few years on this box. And I remember one of the things that I did after the fresh install, and I'm including Steam and the Nvidia drivers. Those were like the 2 big packages that I had installed at the time. And I looked at it, it's like, oh, it's like 9.1 gigs that I'm using, just because I also imaged it and I have a backup somewhere. But yeah, it's so 10 gigs. That seems a bit much for something that's Arch based.
But here's the thing, though. There is a not insignificant portion of my drive space consumed by various Proton versions. And I'm sure they're shipping a couple on the image as well. Those are about a gig and change a pop, depending on what your release is. So that can possibly add to the size. They may also have like a power wash recovery utility just to like scrub everything away, so they have like a separate, just completely clean image.
Man, that better be like a hotkey sequence.
Yeah. It's also an immutable root.
Up, down.
So
I think about that, and definitely part of the size I would wager is there's going to be some pre-computed shader cache in there, because that's not going to be a juggernaut, and that would
make sense, yes, because you don't want the deck draining battery to do that.
And you got to think, even with your desktop CPU, that takes a minute. So keep that in mind. Pedro, tell me about this thing that I cannot figure out how to use because I'm too dumb.
The noozle.
All this does is, when you go on Steam and you go on the nav bar at the top where you'd go to select just Linux only and then scroll to the bottom and sort by new releases. Well, this replaces that page. And that's a big no-no for me. Yeah, the Steam Labs Experiment 13's the store hubs. And if you go to, say, the Linux category, or you click on one of the tags for a game, you get a full-fledged hub page like you'd get for the game developers when you click on a game developer and you get the complete hub page, or our curator page. It looks very similar to that, in fact. And that, I was okay with most of the experiments because they didn't really affect what I did. This one does, and it takes away my ability to get to the list the way that I used to. You can still get to that list
by clicking.
Yes. Admittedly, you can still get to that list by clicking on the little magnifying glass next to with just a blank search field. Click on the magnifying glass, it gives you the full list. And then you click games, and then you click Linux. There you go. But yeah, no, this is directly affecting the way that I go to the Steam store and I sort by new games and I find things. So no, don't do that.
You know what? I clicked through that and I'm like, oh, no. Then I just went back to the main page and I went to specials. I'm like, there it is. Okay, now I got it. Let's remove specials. It's a bunch of wishy bullshit, but maybe it's going to be helpful wishy bullshit. Jordan?
I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I appreciate Valve actually trying stuff and putting this out for consumption to actually solicit feedback, because they've done that before. We've seen experiments from this from the Steam Experiments Lab, whatever thing, that have not made it into the main client. Maybe if they're listening, they'll hear Pedro's complaint and implement something to better filter Linux games. I don't know. I don't use any of the features of this of the store like this, because I generally know what I want to buy before I go to Steam and say
I gotta say though, man, is we've all been to the updated news page where it has the popover that will bring a fucking browser on a 24-thread system to a crawl. Work on that.
Yeah.
Let's work on that. Blast from the past.
Yeah, we got some new games, but it's actually an old game. I played a bunch of it back in the day. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, not the new Dark Alliance that is busted and is still $50. This is the PlayStation 2 version that is $40. So, save $10 for a 20-year-old game. Yeah, but it's a hack and slash RPG based in the D&D 3.0 rules. It's fun. I enjoyed playing it. You have your fighter, your elf, and your dwarf, and yeah, you run around and stab rats. That's the game.
Yep,
it's out.
I played a lot of it on my PS2 as well, and the thing that kind of jumped out at me is the publishers, Interplay Entertainment Corporation. Yes, they were the publisher back in the day. Are they back from the dead? What's happening?
Are they just like a shell company now that just owns a bunch of rights and nothing else?
Yeah, it's just a name, not actually the people. But yeah, no, that £30 price tag for a PS2 game.
It is 64-bit only, as Ven is displaying. You're going to need a bunch of 32-bit compatibility libraries, so if you're on Ubuntu or Pop, good luck.
That's the thing. The one question I had in the previous Super Showsm was, is this an old game? Yes, it is.
Yes.
But hey, maybe you won't be surprised. Maybe it won't open like PCX2 like real quick. Like, ooh, hey, look. And Sony, what's going on here? This is more devious. Does it have multiplayer or anything?
It does, yeah. Okay. And apparently this one comes with the online multiplayer. So
split screen.
Split screen. They didn't do online for this one. I remember reading.
Doesn't say. It says Steam Cloud, full controller support, remote play together.
Boy, they have a higher, more powerful feature that.
Yes, of course. Of course. You know what? It might work well on the Steam Deck.
Possibly.
Maybe that's the only reason why I think like this is out right now. They're like, hey, we need to beef up our library of stuff we can play on handheld. Here's some old games that are that'll run pretty well.
Yes, we're Valve. Let's kneecap a mobile processor. Right, play some games.
This isn't Valve. This is who the fuck are these people? They are Square One Games Incorporated.
Oh, I know that. I'm just talking about the whole concept of remote play together. Like, don't use it. It's a bad. I mean, use it if you absolutely want to play around with it. But I think most people using remote, it's the experiment. We all have like, this is not good yet. Maybe it's going to be good in the future.
I think the big possibility is like if you have a bunch of people in like physical proximity with the deck, then you can do sort of like a local split screen thing. I don't know.
Ad hoc. Yeah. Wireless thing. Everything connects wirelessly to each other.
I want a fucked up cable. That's proprietary as hell.
Yeah, dude, cable. Yeah. I mean, you can do that if you have a Type-C NIC. You can just plug it in and just use an Ethernet cable. It works, point to point, baby.
Okay, now I'm genuinely curious. I know there's like Ethernet to Wi-Fi. Is there a Wi-Fi to Ethernet?
Yeah, it's called a network bridge.
Yeah, there's just a receiver, an access point up a situation with a Ethernet.
But you need a router built into like a 20-port.
Yeah. That's what I did with an old router with DDWRT.
All right, fair enough. Jupiter Hell is getting updates after 5 years.
Yes, after 5 years. Doom. It's not Doom the roguelike, but it has a 1.2 out. Yeah, congrats. And what the fuck does it come with? Mouse support. That's the big one now. Yes. Is you can finally play the game with a mouse. This was one of the ones that came out of the early access Kickstarter purgatory. So good. They also added some funkier gear in the early game, but yeah, no mice support in 2021, almost 2022 now. It's revolutionary.
Well, hang on. No, we need to be fair. It introduces experimental mouse support.
Yeah, they didn't have time to test it.
We cut that shit on just to shut some of you fuckos up, and they're still salty about this because immediately when you see this type of game, everybody's first thought is like, why doesn't it work with my mouse?
It's like there's a crosshairs, there's an aiming thing. Why can I not use the pointing device?
Yeah, for you watching the video, this is that game. Everyone's first top down spinny pointer. It's supposed to follow your fucking mouse.
It's 3D Doom the roguelike, effectively.
We threw chairs at it forever ago.
Doom the roguelike, you could actually use the mouse. If you were playing the SDL2 version of the game, or SDL1, I can't remember which version it is, but you could use the mouse to aim. You just move the mouse,
just with
aim the thing.
One monitor at a time. One monitor at a time. They also added a bunch of... with the Varia update as well, they also add a bunch of rebalances for the classes and traits that are in here, if you care about that kind of spreadsheet nonsense. If not, you can now click your way to success.
Ish. Hopefully, I didn't try it. But that's not the only retro-themed business we got for you this afternoon.
No, it is not. We also have the goodies, which are coming to us from Dusk. It's a free bit of DLC, let's call it that. Well, they are distributing it as a DLC, and the actual bits that you get are development versions of the game, like the different iterations that they went through.
How can you tell?
You get some of... Yeah. That first one is really easy to tell because it's really crisp. It didn't have the extra pixely filter that they threw on it.
Oh, no.
But you get a bunch of screenshots. They say 500-ish. There's music, more game assets. There's memes, obviously, because David Oshry is a mean meme machine, if you ever followed his Twitter account. And it is. There's also a cheats text file, so there's that. It is for stuff for Dusk.
It reminds me a lot of like the extended editions of Lord of the Rings, right? Like this is all the behind the scenes asset stuff. And you can, if you really like Dusk, you can sort of see how the game matured over time. It does recommend, though, that if you want to pick this up, you got to have a real dank sound card. If you want to know about dank sound cards, you can check out the Interfacing Linux playlist.
Wait a minute. The most dankest of dank sound cards known universally are French sound cards, PCI ones. So I'm going to file that. This doesn't work with my Digigram 222 V2.
It's pretty dank. You didn't say how dank.
Man, like the retro 3D stuff, I was joking around that. I fear that I wish something into existence, because this was a couple of weeks ago I posted on Twitter. I was like, oh, what's up next after we get done with 3D hipster pixels? Like, oh no, 3D hipster polygons. Somebody has released a PS1 shader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was that Elisa game that is basically just like a PlayStation 1 Resident Evil.
Might have been retro, using the PS1 shader, because we were...
May have. Yeah.
It's the jiggly polygons. Like, ooh, I remember those.
Yeah. Lara Croft intensifies.
This has got broken polygons.
Yes, specifically, like the entire textures. Well, if you've ever played a Bethesda game and you saw the models stretching themselves out and freaking out with the physics going all over the place... Well, this is that, but it wasn't Bethesda, it was Valve. They released a very, very broken update for Counter-Strike Global Offensive, which specifically was a couple of...
Let me give him a hand.
Let's hit the brakes. I would have not picked that up.
Hideo Kojima presents Counter-Strike.
But yeah, there was a lot of that happening. It's like... that deformation, stretching of the textures, you've seen it happen whenever games aren't very terribly well done, except this one was actually a couple of the libraries that are involved with the DirectX to OpenGL conversion. So it was affecting both Linux and Mac. And then, of course, the mainstream media immediately saw an opportunity and went, the CSGO problem, does Valve really care about Linux gaming? It's like,
I mean, they care about Linux gaming. They care about Linux gaming about as much as Rockstar cares about PC gaming.
So I'm not seeing the problems here.
Where were those articles when, any busted game that came out this year asking if that development company cared about the platform? For example, does CD Projekt Red really care about the PC, the PS4, the Xbox One, the PS5,
money.
the Xbox, Pedro, whatever it's called?
Pedro, they care about money. They're a game company.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, to the Counter-Strike team's credit, at least it's not the most critical piece of software that went down this week.
Wow. No, it is not.
You know what?
Log4j, AWS.
If I'm fucking Valve and people are bitching about CSGO, I'm like, okay, why don't we give you a refund? Oh, wait.
And like the clickbait headbait, like Pedro says, is unnecessary catastrophizing. Also, just as an aside, you can actually absolutely deploy on Friday. Just make sure that your shit is engineered well and properly instrumented, so that when things go wrong,
on Friday,
it tells
you got motherfuckers
Tesla.
on call. That's the only time it's acceptable, because you know what? You don't need 2 fucking whole days for that nightmare brew of shit to like ferment, because Monday's still coming, bitch.
Software development has moved forward. You don't have to worry about this shit anymore. We have tools.
I can, yeah. That
Screams in DevOps. Yeah.
There's too many times I've seen, even last week they did a big patch push out for Horizon Ninja Turbo. Wrecked it. Wrecked it. RGB fucking foliage. And I mean, it wasn't just Proton issues. I mean, all of their big implementation of DLSS, their FSRs, it's just fucked up. They're like, we're off on the weekends, but hey, man, we deploy on Friday, bitches. YOLO.
Deploy on Friday. Have the tools to figure out what's wrong after you do.
And yeah, as it turns out, the Monday afterwards, there was an update that brought in some stuff.
So all the Counter-Strike Go stuff on Linux, I think, might have been solved by, hey, they've given it the DIX fix, the DXVK treatment, and it launches just fine. I can tell you after relentless testing of I launched it, and it launched.
And it stays launched, apparently.
It did. You can trigger this just like you do with Dota 2. You put the little Vulkan flag on there. I'm sorry, Windows users, you don't get to play around with this, even if you've just installed Linux, because it does involve typing. So, and it kind of looks like a command line. Just don't. It was just bad times. So, yeah, they fixed input delay closing. Listen, this is the only time I'm going to, I have nothing against CSGO. It's just I played first-person shooters for 30 years. I'm going to burn out on them. I launched it. I saw that interface. And yeah, Pedro, you made the, it's like, yes, this is like a games as a service type thing. Now it's free to play. Like, that is a very busy intro screen to what Jordan said. It's like, yeah, it used to be like play game options and like, man.
Yeah, the Half-Life menu.
Yeah, now it's like, hey, look, here's this new thing. Here's a video that's playing. What the hell? What have you become?
No, it started with that video. It's like, stop, no skip. Oh, press X to skip. Fuck you, Valve. Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's there. You got Vulkan goes. How's the performance? Can I play it on my 240 hertz rounded 17-inch monitor?
Probably, yeah.
Rounded.
Rounded, yeah. It's a big circle. It's like a mirror.
Oh yeah.
Probably, yeah. No, it does. It actually performs very, very well. If you have 144 or if you have a 360 hertz display, you can probably get the graphics down far enough that you will have 360 all the time. There is, however, something to be said about having an uncapped frame rate in a game where the input latency matters very, very much, and so you don't really want to be V-syncing at all. Unfortunately, and this is the big problem with this update, which is the moment that you undo the VSync, you get really bad frame time inconsistencies. So stuttering, effectively, you just get stuttering. When you're initially loaded into the map, there's the typical Vulkan, I gotta compile these shaders, hold on. That's fine. But after you've already been in the map for 10 minutes and the maps aren't terribly big, and every now and then there's still this, it's like, no, stop it. That's the stuff that gets you killed. No.
Oh, hell no. Hell no, man. That's incompetence. It gets me killed.
One interesting thing that came out of Vulkan or CSGO switching over to DixFix native is that we covered what Mike Blumenkrantz was doing a while ago with the new Gallium 9, and this will now work with it. So if you have an AMD card and you want to see if you can, it'll probably
Gallium
perform about on par. Yep. No, not over sync. Over it's the DLL injection that takes advantage of the DirectX hardware. Yeah.
But
So
going over zinc instead of just regular OpenGL. That was the thing we talked about, was specifically about zinc. OpenGL over Vulkan?
No. This was about the actual like Gallium 9 implementation in Mesa that he made generic.
I'm
that we
pretty sure
talked
that
about.
was
This.
about that. But okay,
Nope.
yeah, maybe I'm misremembering.
Yeah. And anyways, Snapfight. Either way, it should perform about on par with this, but you might get some better power savings. I'm curious to see what the end result of that is.
So here's a hard question though, man. Is this going to make any of us go play? Because I didn't mind playing the Battle Royale version.
Danger Zone?
Yeah. It's like, all right,
Danger
drones.
Zone!
I will say this during their pre-show, that never got brought up. Like, hey, what do you want to do in the after show tonight? Jackbox. All right.
Right, yes. I mean, Pedro brought it up, so, you know, I'm going to blame him.
I like Jackbox. I do. I do. Don't really get an opportunity to play it with people outside of this show, so yeah.
All right. Well, no Vulkan for you. Coming up next, we try to decipher the Stargate. I'm sorry, not the Stargate.
Fargate.
The latest Nvidia patch notes.
Fargate.
To figure out what actually gets included in their latest
12's
driver
not a
update.
real number. It can't hurt you.
Wouldn't you know it?
Nope.
It's the news. They're coming up. It's actually a significant news segment, but before we get to that, we need to take a break. Well, not really. We had the break already. Now we're back, but before...
That was a quick break, man. Damn.
Take a break. All right, break's over. Work time now. We got to work for money.
Break's over now, so we need to thank you and
crack that whip.
Thank my brain for actually getting back on track at some point.
Yeah, if you want to help fund our bullwhip purchasing budget that we use to make sure that we stay on topic, you can head on over to patreon.com/LinuxGamecast.
I'm exercising massive restraint. It's like, what do you think a bullwhip costs these days?
Oh, I mean, shit, I gotta add that to my Amazon wishlist, don't I? That's a spoiler. Yeah, patreon.com/LinuxGamecast. Become a patron. You get some cool stuff. You get access to our Discord channel, which you can also get by subbing to us on Twitch via twitch.tv/LinuxGamecast, where you may or may not be watching this right now. But becoming a patron gets you some cool stuff. In addition to that, you get early show note access at the Death Note level. You can get an executive producer credit, which will also get you that lovely little video feed for the pre super shows. Where we talk about the Sears catalog and how easy it is for kids these days to go to Sears.com and do all sorts of naughty things.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Wait a minute, was that before or after our Kmart search? I think it was before.
That was after
just
the
before.
Kmart.
What? No, it was just before. The Kmart came from that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, maybe I don't remember. It's all a blur. It's a drug fueled mess of nonsense that you can listen to. It's an extra hour of content. It's good stuff. Yeah, you can even buy your way onto the damn show if you want to via Patreon. But we got some Patreons we got to thank this week. We got some new people. We got Xanthirus, the Flute Master Gaming. Their new Patreon. Akselmo as well, and Rue. Also, yeah, today, Nubbin is now a member of the illustrious Little Nicky fan club. That is the Chicago Kicks Ass Patreon tier. So,
I just like
Chicago.
how, what did you call Ask Elmo? Jordan?
Akselmo?
What did I?
Akselmo?
Akselmo? And Xanthirus?
No.
Xanthirus was the big one.
The second one? Akselmo.
I don't know.
That's what it says, right? AKSELMO? Akselmo?
Ask Elmo?
Akselmo.
Akselmo. It's like accelerating Elmo.
That's AKS, not ASK.
How dare. How dare. All right, Pedro, you need to thank somebody for a book and some fans. Knock that out. Doesn't have them ready. Didn't know.
No.
I do, actually. They're all bundled up. They were on the same shelf. It was just a matter of reaching over and grabbing it. First one is Grigner the Accordion, which is a retelling of the Eye of Argon.
Okay.
But that Nory gave me. There's like, a book. Love you. From Nory. So, thank you, honey.
Nory,
thank
girlfriend,
you very much.
Work on it. There's room for improvement.
Heavier book. Get him something way more boring next time.
Oh, no.
War and Peace.
And fine RTheren gifted me 2 Noctua fans and a Ugreen 4-port USB 3 switch box, which, as you can see, comes with 5G. Well, no, you can't see.
Yeah, can't see it, Pedro.
Pedro, pro tip, because I have that exact KVM. Make sure to plug in the USB power, or else you will drop your peripherals constantly.
Yes. I read the instruction booklet, and the little note says, "Hey, Pedro, I hope this won't burst into flames and explosion won't take away the rest of your hand." How dare you? Anyway, enjoy this and the small Noctuous. Oh, and say hi to Nory. Yours totally not simp, RTheren. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You can't say that on Twitch. We're gonna get taken off. But you know,
You can say
gotta
blimp
appreciate
on Twitch.
blimp. Yeah, blimp, shrimp. No shrimping on Linux Gamecast. But yeah, we'll talk about the wish list in a second. But we gotta talk about the store where you can buy merchandise like what I'm wearing right now. Store.linuxgamecast.com. I'm gonna lift the microphone up a little bit so you can see.
Oh, now you do it. Now you do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Here, we want to get more out of sync. All right.
Oh man, yeah. Buy some t-shirts, buy some stickers, buy some face masks. You're gonna need them. Omicron is out and about. You got to cover your face, or maybe just buy yourself a nice little coffee mug to drink salty tears out of.
Salt. Do you think people drink salt water?
Yeah, my girlfriend does.
I think everyone tries that once in a while.
Like on purpose?
Yeah, you just got to let it distill, and then it won't.
Well, I understand the physics of it. I'm just like the motivation behind it.
Low salt if you don't consume enough sodium in your diet.
Yeah, you need some sodium.
But one thing we do want to plug, if you head over to linuxgamecast.com, that drop-down button, check it out. We got wish list. We got one for the studio. We got one for the Jordan. We got one for the Pedro. And we got one for the Jill. And, something fun. We always like to creep on, see if anybody's got anything interesting on their wish zone. So I think, Jordan, you're going to be the victim this week. Do you have anything strange on your wish list? Oh God! Why do you have a sound blaster? What's wrong with you, man? That's
you brought up the RGB sound card, and I'm like, oh well, I got to put it on my wish list now.
You weirdo.
Yeah. There you go, gaming chair, right on.
Yeah, like most of this makes perfect sense, especially for Canada. But RGB gaming card, never once. No one just. No.
The foam one doesn't make any sense, but yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to spend $200 on a replica sword for me, you can spend $50 on a foam sword for me. That's what it boils down to. I give you people options. See, there's an array of shit
I'm
you
not
can buy me.
Shit until you put some nunchucks on there.
All right, fair enough. Next time, nunchucks and a bullwhip. Next week.
I want to read that article. Local.
I'm gonna like tie the nunchucks to the bullwhip, and I'm gonna try and nunchuck people from a distance.
Oh no!
Canada man ties nunchucks to bullwhip.
This is gonna be like displaying it on a stream. We're gonna be doing the show. It's gonna be massive coronary failure. You're gonna fall over dead holding it, and you're just gonna see like a flash come out of the right corner in the door close.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to end up as a Darwin Award. That's my goal in life.
We all need goals like some new drivers. Bad segue, but deal with it. There's not a whole lot new in here. They're still playing around. They're still playing around with EGL support, doing the Waylands on the Nvidias very begrudgingly. But there's a new support for the GBM API, all that fun stuff. Indicator for resizable bar. That's the thing. They've removed support for something I don't even know what it is. This
looks familiar though. Like I've seen these notes.
This is exactly not a carbon copy of the other ones.
I'm getting some deja vu here.
Anything
they didn't even add. I mean, I suppose does the supported products even have the 2060 12 gig? Or just
see, I looked at that, but I think that's just the 2060, right?
This is the whole thing. No, you got to put extra juice in there to be like, yo, we're mapping an additional
the 2060 EJ
gigs.
Extra juice.
Here's what it is. I will bet about TrueVidi that this refresh of the previous driver was to kind of just slide in support for the 12 gig 2060.
Could be, because they certainly didn't fix the one bug that people have actually been complaining about.
Oh, I'm sure it's something that You would only notice if you had a terminal open. I'm a Windows user. I can't open a terminal.
No, it's something that you notice if you have low enough RAM that a 2 gigabyte D-bus process will just nuke what's available of your memory.
So what kind of RAM are we talking about, Pedro Mateus? System RAM? Video RAM? Bus
System RAM.
Dodge RAM?
Dodge RAM?
It's the actual message bus for the D-bus daemon that gets so full up with Nvidia spam that it starts increasing. I'm
assuming he's talking about system RAM, the thing that's plugged right next to the CPU.
That's what I said. Yes.
No, that's not. You said that in a very roundabout way that took some additional investigation. But so then you installed these drivers. They didn't set anything on fire?
They work. Next story.
All right. Next story.
Blink 3.2.0. It is just about the Open Razer. There's a new version of the Open Razer drivers. They include support for the Blade 14, the laptop, the Black Widow V3, I think that's a mouse, the Blade Pro 17, also a laptop,
no, the Black Widow's
Pro.
a keyboard.
That's a keyboard? Okay.
Yep.
All right. And what's the mouse? I also always get confused. If you want a little Razer rant, if you want a little Razer rant, go check the show notes.
Razer rants,
but
Pedro's Razer rant.
I won't bore you with it, but there's one there. And
Razer, calm your tits with the. This is all keyboards. Every single one of these.
Oh yeah,
yes,
yeah. See Black Widow keyboard. Yeah.
Yeah, they also improved. Speaking of dbus, they improved the dbus user session dependencies. To be compatible with Dev 1, of all things. They also added tilt wheel support for the Razer Mamba. That one's a mouse. And I don't know what's so special about the tilt clicks, because these work fine on the Logitech mice anyway.
I love this. Razer makes so much shit that blinks. They had to come up with a miscellaneous session.
Yeah. So one thing I did see, it's at the very, very bottom of the release notes, is if anyone has a Razer or Nada, try the Starlight random effect. It may or may not explode your mouse/keyboard, whatever the peripheral is. I think it's a keyboard. It was in the keyboard list. I was talking shit about
Blind
not reading.
Change,
Maybe
if
I
someone
need to
has
read.
a device, please validate. Yes,
Yep.
blow it up. Blow it up.
Give it a shot. We don't know what's going to
I have
happen.
nothing but love. Even though the blinky RGB nonsense is not my cup of chainsaw, I gotta say, this would at least, if you're in my boat and you end up with something and you cut it on for the first time and you're like, oh no, no. And your first thought's like, okay, I'm gonna have to clip some LEDs. This will at least give you the option to disable it without having to resort to, like whiteout or anything like that.
Maiming your motherboard.
Yeah. So,
And this is more than just the RGBs. The Open Razer does actually add the functionality that you would require the Windows software to use, which not available on Linux. And with these drivers, they're very much attempting to give you that. But yeah, no, the RGB bits, submit those to OpenRGB, please. Let's keep that centralized. We don't need a repeat of the malware situation on Windows, please.
okay, fine. So
Needs more Log4j.
we need to put together a stream team at Amazon. We were talking about a lot of stuff earlier, but there is a job description up on old Amazon.jobs. Well played. Well played. I wonder if there's a, can you get a Steve? I bet that's taken, isn't it? Damn it.
Steve.jobs.
Yeah. So the description, Luna is Amazon's cloud gaming thing, which is apparently still a thing. Yes, I know. I'm with you. I'm like, wow, that's still around. The Luna core streaming team, they want you to come in, man. Do you get the skills with the C and C++? Wine exclusively used to see. Wait, Wine? Yes, Wine. They're also talking about Linux, OpenGL, Vulkan, DXVK, Linux kernels, and Windows kernels. So yeah, look, buzzwords for the role, baby. I don't know. What do you think? What's the responsibilities? Working on the infrastructure for Luna. You get to combine your passions for money and graphics programming, Linux, building scalable tech, basic quals, perf quals.
That's pretty modest, actually.
Oh, it is.
Like,
this strikes me as like an entry-ish level thing, but here's what we got to say, man. Maybe I misspoke in the show notes because I initially, what I typed in the show notes was like, unlike Googs Amazon will give something a few years of support and let it like work itself out.
And then foist it somewhere else.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're like, oh, well, they dumped a lumberyard on the Linux Foundation. Like, don't see that as a negative.
Yes.
That's better than like pigeonholing it.
I mean, it's better than it dying. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
but
And Amazon seems like they're going to give this some runway. Like they're playing around with it. They're not like, it's not an immediate success. Hi, we're Google. Listen, you're like, don't kill it, Google. It's like, we would have killed it anyway. It has nothing to do with it. We have a dartboard with our projects that we throw. We have to kill a certain amount each year.
So every team lead plays a game of Russian roulette, and it's like their brains splatter on the wall.
Right.
Your project dies.
They probably have a fucking manatee tank at Google too. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Now, like it or not, and I'm going to say most of us people watching, we're in the not category of this. Streaming is going to be the future of gaming. Be it like in parts, some type of rendering, something, or whole hog. You're just.
The in-part rendering is already happening.
Oh, it is limited in that effect. Now, I'm always curious because companies that are going to be working on this stuff, they are going to be the leaders. You know, Steam is the juggernaut because Valve started Steam when people were going, what type of moron? You go to the store and buy a game, so you get the CDs, dummy. The internet, that's not always cut on. You're not going to be downloading games. That's ridiculous. Amazon seems to be playing that game of like, hey, this is going to take some work. We're going to get everything hammered out. And I think like in the streaming and all that, a lot of that work a lot of those problems have been solved. Have we not all said at least once, where's the problem? Connectivity, last mile, getting it in the house. Mm-hmm. I think things are going to change just a little bit when we're going to have 3, maybe 5 different companies offering space internet, you know, with thousands upon thousands of satellites covering the sky, Jordan.
You won't be able to see the sun anymore.
Yeah.
Oh man, like there was this movie, The Animatrix, that they did something, and what? Here's the thing. Reading through the job description, it does look like they are looking for people to actually engage with the upstream Wine and Proton teams, which is I would argue is probably a good thing. More engineers working on Proton, the better. People are worried that like, oh, Valve is the sole main contributor to Proton. Now they're gonna have an undue say in Linux gaming. Well, now Amazon is also gonna have an undue say in Linux gaming. So you can choose your lesser of two evils here. But like, hopefully it does result in like better improvements to the platform, either improved performance in existing games or more ready support for new games that come out. That's going to be the big one. Because like the big shock with Proton,
nothing to do with getting their service on the deck.
I mean, why not?
I mean, yes. And even in the middle of this conversation, when Pedro says their service, I'm like, oh, right, they do have a service.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luna.
It's the same name as my dog. I can't take it seriously.
This is also the problem with that. I mean, the only reason most of us would have any idea what a Luna is because you bought the knockoff Nintendo Switch controller.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, like, I'm going to go put that up on the shelf. It'll be worth something one day. All right. Two last things before we get out of here. We got to talk about studios.
Yeah, GB Studio. You might be like Pedro and are obsessed with handheld vintage retro gaming. And you might be also a person who wants to make games of that vintage. Well, GameBoy Studio, GB Studio, they got you. Version 3.1 is out as well. It lets you make Game Boy games in a nice, handy dandy way. I have in my notes. They also released a hotfix this week because 3.0 got released. There's some stuff that was a little buggy, but new features include a new Game Boy VM engine, support for idle animations out of the box, support for 3 save slots out of the gate. If you want to produce a build for the analog Pocket native, you can do that. And also they added UGE as a audio format. So yeah, lots of improvements for this.
NBM,
if you want to make Game Boy
this
games.
is like when Electron and C have sexy time. I love this. It's wrong. I'm done with it. What's fair to say? Is this like Game Maker Studio, but it can poop out the Game Boy ROMs?
Yeah,
compatible.
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's dope.
It's drag and drop, make your own Game Boy game. Yeah, please do more of that. Better that than trying to do some retro hipster pixel game in Unity and having it take like 5 gigs of space. Please.
Well, it's onboarding for new development for new developers, right? Like you hit the end of what you can do with the drag and drop, and then you start learning how to code.
Not at all. You see, earlier, I think it was this week, might have been last week, they did a preview of the Sonic the Hedgehog on the Amiga.
Mm-hmm.
But it required the RAM upgrade card, and Pedro was like, "Get that shit out of here!"
Bullshit!
Yeah, it's
my historically accurate computers.
As he waves around a Raspberry Pi powered Game Boy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Maybe you don't like dependencies though. Maybe you want to minimize them as much as possible. You might want to check out Unpossible. You might want to check out spaceshooter.c on GitHub. Link to all this stuff is in our show notes. And it is a top-down 2D space shooter, and it has the minimum required libraries. For Linux, it uses EVDev. It uses also in pthread for audio, and renders directly via OpenGL using Xlib. So I built it, and part of the lack of dependencies means that it will lack some controller support. I tried this with my DualShock 4. It compiles in like a fucking quarter of a second. It's great. But fire worked, movement didn't. You have to unplug your controller if you want to use the mouse controls.
It's using InDev. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. But like it's a good example of how to minimize your dependency chain. It's a big problem in software development when people just pick a bunch of third-party libraries, build their shit out of it, and then lo and behold, something goes out of date, something gets upgraded, some platform compatibility causes you to be unable to support other stuff.
Or they don't actually ship the required libraries, and then the game doesn't work unless people go out and actively hunt for the missing dependencies. Yeah.
Yeah. So here you go.
System libraries. That's amazing.
Yeah, this is a good exercise, and I recommend a lot of game developers take a look at this and see like this is what you can actually do without having to pull in a million dependencies. I'll throw NPM under the bus for that.
Yeah, NPM. Come on, man. That's why you need the extra hard drive.
We just talked about the GP Maker.
Yeah.
All right, that's gonna do it for the news.
Yeah, coming up next. We get roasted, we get shot, we move boxes one square at a time.
Drugs, yes. We're
gonna jump on all the drugs. Stay tuned, Chairquisition. Welcome back to the Chairquisition. It's where we take our games that are given to us by lovely developers. Sometimes we buy them, sometimes other people buy them for us. We run them on a bunch of different Linux distributions on a bunch of different hardware, and then we tell you what we think about them using our highly scientific, completely accurate, divinely ordained lawn chair metric system.
Hey man, and just to make sure that we take our time, we have to do it in under 3 minutes or we get cut off.
Gotta do it in under 3 minutes. I don't think this is going to be an issue here.
That's how you increase accuracy.
Yes, maximal accuracy.
Pressure, yes.
This week, we're taking a look at Rob Riches, done by Megapop on the Unity engine. You can pick it up for about $7 US. What is it? You are Rob Riches, fearless adventurer and treasure hunter, and plan your steps carefully as you traverse ancient temples filled to the brim with dangerous traps and mysterious puzzles to stop you from stealing their shit. We gotta thank Megapop for sending us some keys. So I guess let's get into it. Pedro, tell us about the socks, the O's, and the bands.
It is over here on the Ryzen 7 3700X and the GTX 1080. It launched out of the box. It holds 144 FPS at 2560 by 1440. Both the DualShock 4 and the DualSense work out of the box. Hooray, Unity! So kudos, you finally figured it out. The graphics, well, I mean, if you're looking at the video version, they're perfectly serviceable. The music is a lot more atmospheric than it should have had any business being. It's like very epic, it's like, yes, a thing is happening and you're making progress and there you go. It's like, right?
Is it shell shock levels?
That's what I was about to say. Were you looking around for a tank?
Yeah.
It's not quite shell shock, but it is also very like exploration driven, like the music that you usually get with exploration in RPGs and stuff. It is on that level, but very, very epic. So what happened with the graphics. The music is awesome. What happened with the graphics there? But yes, as for the fun, you've played this game before. In fact, we played this game not too long ago with a different skin, and it was called Dark Crypt. Here, it's less about the undead and more about the traps of some long-forgotten civilization, but you're still jumping one square at a time. Unless you hit one of the drums, then you skip a square.
Sometimes you fall.
Yes, sometimes you fall. To get the protagonist person from one side of the map to the other. That's you have to avoid the hazards, obviously, but that's effectively what you're doing. I still think I prefer the PS1/Saturn era of 3D than I do hipster pixel graphics. So in that respect, Robert Richmondson here takes the edge over Dark Crypt, but the edge does not a chair make in this situation, so it gets 3 chairs. And yes, big kudos. It's actually very nice.
Mine's going to be real short and sweet. Comrade on Fedora 35, 64-bit with the R9 3900X and the GTX 1080 Ti. Jesus Christ, someone played the Russian national anthem, because that's where the game started in default Russian locale. Fortunately, I know how menus work and was able to change the localization.
Norwegian.
Ah, okay. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one who ran into some translation issues. Fortunately for me, I have a Russian speaker in the house, so worst comes to worst, I could ask them. Anywho, it brought my system to its knees with the graphical power. No, it's like basic 3D graphics. It's isometric view. It runs fine out of the box. DualShock 4 works. I like the music. It's pretty funky, as Pedro mentioned. It did a good job with the soundtrack. Fun-wise, yeah, it's a Sokoban puzzle game. Do you want more square-by-square movement puzzles? Then this is the game for you. It keeps things fresh by introducing a new twist every couple of levels, and it's perfectly adequate. I sat in front of my keyboard for about 20 minutes trying to come up with anything to really say about this game, but there's not much to say. It's like decently done. I have no complaints. I have no problems with it. Mm-hmm. It's square movement. I'll give it 3 chairs. Absolutely.
3 chairs. It is plenty of time to spare. Can I do the same? Can I even find this? There it is. Ha! Ah, there we go. TikTok on me. Boom. Check it out. Debian 11 out of the box on a 2066 gig, because I got to say that now. Not 12, not 8, just 6. No problems. None whatsoever. The first thing I check, because, you look at the game, you're like, that's a mobile game. You're like, yeah, but hey, you can't, let's just rule it out of hand. But when I see a mobile game show up on PC, first thing I'm going to check is how do you full screen? Because this is a problem issue. And what's your resolution? Well, you got a full screen option on this, but all it does is when you go to window, it puts a border around your 2160p. No resolution options. There's problems there. Developers, I do expect better on that. Now, the music. Did anyone listen to the music in the just configure, the title screen, going into configurations? Because that's about one note off of a Nintendo lawsuit. That was some Zelda inspired, but not quite. Still enjoyable. Controller did work out of the box. Let's talk about the fun. Welcome to another episode of I'm absolutely going to overthink this, because games like Baba Is You and Steven's Sausage Rolls have damaged me. They have. First 30 minutes, I had to hop over to a YouTube video because just for a level, because I knew it was going to be something like wicked simple, but my brain refused to accept the simplicity as a possible solution. Like, no, this is clearly more convoluted, and I'm going to, no, it was 100% that simple. Nice little puzzle game is what we end up with, though. It does toss a few thinky challenges your way, which I like. That's why you play a puzzle game, at least me. You feel your brain working a little bit. And I can say, like, even 60 minutes in, it was still introducing new mechanics, so you're not going to get terribly bored with it. It is something that you can just pick up, puzzle around a bit, but no, now granted, that's a little bit harder of a sell on the desktop versus mobile. But I do believe this can keep you occupied for prolonged stretches, 30, 45 minutes at a time. So, you know what? It even manages to save where you rage quit. When you first rage quit because you were using the controller and that auto hop bullshit gets you killed to death because fuck drums? That part? Yeah. There's also no way to disable the, if you just hold left, up, down, left, right, you just keep going in that direction. That becomes a problem later on in the game when you're like, we're playing this with a keyboard. For $6.99 though, I mean, yeah, you get a pass on that. We just all agreed independently. I went and looked at the notes. Just a solid 3 down the road. I mean, it's a $7 puzzle game. Yeah, I'm good. I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
There is a perfectly fine game. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, so there you go, Megapop. There is nothing wrong with your game.
It's fine.
It is a video game. You did a good.
It does what it says on the tin. Coming up next, we get some French holiday presents. It's not foie gras, but it smells about as bad.
It is most definitely the end of the show, as you've heard it, or seen it. I don't judge.
I feel fine.
What if I watch it with a
silently
muted? Yes.
That's that is very much up to you. There are closed captions. The tubes will give you the closed captions. They are hilarious. You should absolutely watch the show,
man.
Every now and then
YouTube
with the closed captions.
Don't have shit on our live stream closed captioning.
Yeah, no, the live stream ones are. What did I claim I did to Santa the other time? I
killed him.
Killed Santa? Yeah.
Knifed him.
Kill Santa. Kill Santa.
Get rid of Santa.
Santa.
Yeah. Get rid of Santa, yeah. So, yes, Santa. That was strangely appropriate. And if you'd like to leave a strangely appropriate comment that we will all have to read, because it'll be featured right here in the hate mail, you can go to linuxgamecast.com, hit the contact button, fill out the form. LGC Weekly is the show that you want to send your message to. Otherwise, well, there will be a lot of gnashing of teeth and commenting. There we go. The place where you can get rid of Santa.
Maybe it isn't. Who knows?
It was, yes. Good CCs. Good CC.
We need to start submitting these to the writing prompt subreddit and see what kind of weird ass short fiction we can generate from it.
So the Sildat, man, long time no hear, writes in about the holidays. Hello, Vin, Jordan, and Pedro. Long time no see. Sorry, life has been very busy lately on my side of the world and space friends. That being said, I decided for the end of the year holidays, I would gift you a nice little versus puzzle. Man, it's dying for. It's been a while since we played puzzle game. Minutes.
Oh no.
Known
puzzle
as
games on Linux.
Pedal Crash. Hey, at least that's somebody who pays attention. Like, hey, we like puzzle games. All right, puzzle game. You don't have to review it if you don't want to, but given its very limited team, just got done creating a secondary executable solely dedicated to online play with rollback netcode that is cross OS. Maybe, just maybe, we could give some good beans a little shout out. You call, guys. No.
Suppose that was to be a your call, but okay.
Fuck
enough.
you.
No, we have to call guys. We got to call the 5 dudes.
Yes, we call guys. All right, fine. We call guys.
Have fun playing the game, though. That's all that. Hey, man, thanks. That's the right way to do something. No, I mean, isn't that how you normally take it? Because we're all victimized by here's a game.
Yes.
Yes.
And I absolutely appreciate it. It's usually games from my wish list too, so that means I want them. So yeah.
Well, everybody's got interesting strategies. Fuck my wood. Might as well not exist. But my favorite participant in that is M Foxdog because he knows I have 250 gigs, and that's my Steam drive. Like this keeps me from hoarding the games. He's like, "Fuck you! We're not getting a game under 90 gigs."
You got to make some hard choices.
Sounds like if you want to play that, get rid of everything else.
But yeah, Pedal Crash looks cool. We haven't really had much in the way of like Super Puzzle Fighter type games under Linux.
We had
so
that Tetris one, Tricky Towers.
Yeah, Tricky Towers.
And the one with the bunny rabbit.
Okay, hear me out, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Here's my design decision: furry meets weeb.
I mean, that you can just say furry.
Yes, there's a big overlap there.
All right. Listen, man. It's very.
But hey, rollback netcode is nice. It's good to see that like smaller games are implementing it as well.
$9.99 online PvP, split screen, online coop. All right, I'll be interested. What was the last thing that we played online? Jordan, you remember this? It was the draw thing. No.
Oh yeah. The one where we have to like draw the picture and the level keeps shaking. You have to pick up the pencils.
Yeah, with like the pencils, because that was a great fucking thing of watching me for 5 minutes trying to decipher what I was supposed to do by watching Jordan.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
And I finally got it.
Just give you a thing on a corner, and then you draw it.
Yeah. All right. Well, when you have two people, like, what are we supposed to be doing? Like, am I supposed to draw the thing? Or am I supposed to? I was just running around fucking Jordan stuff up effectively for the first 5 minutes. And like, yep, YOLO.
I remember, yeah.
So now this was complicated because we didn't have voice set up.
Yes.
So
was it also remote play? I
don't think it was a remote play because I wouldn't have.
No, that one had proper online multiplayer. It's just that there was no one else playing. I remember you guys mentioning that you immediately found each other.
I mean that is the case with a lot of like the smaller multiplayer games.
Yeah.
They use the Unity matchmaking, and that's all you need because no one else is playing.
I mean, at least it's there, so I'm going to say good on that, and good on you, Sildat, for making our dreams come true. Maybe we will find like a complete breakdown and communications and go play some puzzles.
That'll crash.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe it won't crash Linux.
Oh, it better crash. That better be the object of the game to crash the other person's box. Remote code exploits.
See, that's some high level PvP shit.
Put
right
some
there.
stakes on it and call it done, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, if you want to get a hold of me, just at Vin Stone on Twitter. I'm doing that thing there. If you like the Mastodons, we got you covered as well. Head over to mass.linuxgamecast.com, or you can find me disguised as Vin. Thanks to everybody making the show possible. We do have, if you like the Live and Uncut series, and you're like, fuck you guys, I'm not doing the support thing. That's cool. We still love you. We make that available a week later on our YouTube channel. We have a separate YouTube channel that I keep forgetting to plug. The Linux Gamecast Uncut series. You can find it on our main YouTube channel if you know where to look. See, I'm not going to make it too easy for you.
I'm Jordan Spung. Am I a furry weeb? Am I a weeb furry? I'm going to let you speculate on that. You can tell me what you think at twitter.com at The Burning Fool.
Would you call yourself like a worry?
Oh, yeah, I'm a worry word, all right. Or follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/burningfool.
Oh, honey, we've raised a worry.
A worry.
According to Darkwing,
don't worry about it.
It's Fweeb. But yes, you can find me on Twitter at unaccounted4, or if you happen to be within, viewing distance, you'll probably find me standing by the kettle because I'm out of tea.
You need to wash inside of that cup, son.
Pedro's just standing on random street corners, boiling kettles. It's real creepy. It's like Slenderman, but with more teeth. Yeah, we're a big, weird, dysfunctional
thing in the morning, and then it goes the rest of the day just building up taste.
You gotta implement pro strats, black mugs.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can get some more tea advice from our advisors, Omegas and RTheren, our executive producers, Aldius, Barb Ramp, Scott Bashode, Michael Foxdog, Atomic Ass, Mike G, Mike T, Drummer, Kohaku, and Chicago Kicks Ass, Darkwing Abstraction, and Nubbin. He's in the list now, but he's not on the list.
Sea monsters like Jack, Rider X Machina, Truggy Veritaduda, Justin, Frostclaw, Strider, and Renan.
Yes, and the Death Notes: Nova, Basil, Chad, Romeo, Marson, System T, Craig, Renee, Leonardo, The Kresny, Kim, Smashly G, Chris, Stephen Jill, Benjamin, Doom 2.wad. Who's that? Xanthirus Gaming. That's one of our new Patreons.
We got to get it all thrown in there. And a gang of Cherlings, all the fine upstanding cannibals helping us out with the studio, like Carl, Mike, RTheren, Linux New, Aldius, Noctilus, John Eshap, and Gamotron. Keep being awesome.
Get out of here, Frank.
And always, Dynafire. We'll see you next week.
Also, Ruin Akselmo. Thank you.
Ruin Akselmo.
Yes.
Is that like Street Fighter X Tekken?
Yes. But it's on the PS2 on Steam.
5 dudes.